All right, let's talk Kenny Pickett. I actually thought he played pretty well in this game. It was not a perfect game as a whole for Pickett or for the Steelers, certainly. I mean, there's certainly parts you'd have liked to see go better, but I thought that he played well. So I want to talk about what I thought that he did well, and even sometimes where I thought he did some things well that wouldn't show up on the box score. So let's just get into it. Let's start off with this play. What's going to happen here? I really did think at times this offense was running smoothly. Not every time, but there were plays where I'm like, hey, this is, a good Steelers offense that we don't get to see every single week. And a play like this is a good example where it's going to be George Pickens. A lot of it run through George Pickens. I do think he is their best receiver at this point. He's had a really good rookie year, in my opinion. It's zone coverage, and you're going to have the receiver who's lined up to the offense's left kind of run a clear out route, and Pickens can kind of go underneath. Watch. You're going to see Kenny Pickett take the snap. He looks over. He makes the throw. Seems like a pretty easy throw. You do have to give him credit, though, because he did get clobbered right after he made that throw. So standing in the pocket and taking the hit to get the ball down the field, sometimes you got to do it if you're going to win football games, and he did it there. You do see that Pickens was able to get open. So the concept itself worked very well. The throw was good. The catch was good. Holds on to it after some contact. So both Pickett and Pickens got hit on that one. But hey, you're moving the ball down the field. It's football. Sometimes you got to take a hit. So these are the kind of things you like to see and you hope to see more of from the Steelers' perspective. I also thought that a play like this was kind of an example of something where I thought at times I was impressed with Pickett in plays that did not work, which is something that very much happens. As much as we like to pretend that quarterbacks are all that matters and, a win-loss record is all that we care about because, of course, the quarterback wins the game. It's not anything else, right? You don't have teammates. No, it's just the quarterback. Well, that's not exactly true. There are times when a quarterback can make a good play that does not work out. And to me, this is an example where it's a 3rd down and 7, and the Bengals, they did this a couple times where they weren't afraid to blitz Kenny Pickett. Something you see a lot of coaches do is when they have a young quarterback, they will do their best to send pressure. This is a cover 0 blitz, but it's also a bit of a disguise. So they're not just straight up, showing that they're blitzing. They don't want to make it as clear. And so one of the ways that they're kind of disguising this play is they're going to actually have the way it's going to eventually work out is an edge rusher is going to be covering a halfback, which I've never been a huge fan of personally. I would rather just have, have just a linebacker covering the halfback instead. That's probably what I would do, but this is what they're doing. And so when you see this as a quarterback, a lot of times the right move is to just fire in that direction. Watch, as you see, Pickett notices this. He does throw it to Najee Harris and makes a pretty good throw to throw a catchable ball. Good defense, wasn't complete. It happens. But again, putting the ball in the right spot, right? Letting your players try and make a play. I saw this a few times where he gave his receiver a chance and it didn't work out. You still will take that. Also, going over here, this is something I want to see more of. Not really something I was thinking about too much with the Steelers, but the second I saw them do it, I'm like, this should be a part of their offense for sure. I think it should be a part of almost every team's offense, unless you have Tom Brady or Matt Ryan as your quarterback, which is just a quarterback keeper. Like, listen, these plays on 3rd and shorts can be effective if you have a good running quarterback. They're especially effective if the opposing team is not expecting you to do this. Really, the way this works is that you're going to fake as though it could be a handoff to Najee Harris, and you hope that the edge rusher, who you're leaving unblocked on this play, moves too far in to the inside because when you do hand the ball off, that's typically what you do. At least oftentimes, you will leave the edge rusher unblocked. Watch how when Pickett takes the snap, you see how far that edge rusher moved in. He fully bit on this. He thought this was a handoff all the way, and because of that, you're in a good spot if you're the Steelers. Watch Pickett take the ball himself. He is going to be able to pick up the 1st down because he's really athletic. That's one of the things that Pickett never gets enough credit for is the guy can move really well. And so if you have a quarterback who can move really well, we'll get him moving. Figure out ways to use that to your advantage. That's what the Steelers did on this play. I would love to see them do it more. Or maybe they're just going to pick it sparingly like they did here to try and, surprise teams and be able to fool teams, which I can understand the logic behind as well. Going over here, this is going to be an example of really George Pickens, creating trouble on this Bengals secondary. The Bengals really should have put more attention on George Pickens, I think. I think that would have been helpful. But again, what's a quarterback's job? Quarterback's job is to look at the team, say, where are my mismatches? How can I benefit my team? Who's the guy who's winning the most? Let me put the ball in his area. Again, as you see, the heavy Cincinnati blitz comes right here. Pickett fires one up, and you see just how open George Pickens gets. On one hand, you can definitely make the argument, okay, Well, he threw to a wide open player. That's not that impressive. Sure, you get some credit, but not that impressive. To me, I always kind of say, like, you still deserve credit for this type of stuff. Now, is it as impressive as if nothing was open and he fired it through a mailbox throw down the field, like that Big Ben throw to Hines Ward in the Super Bowl? Okay, you get more credit for that, sure. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't hold it against the quarterback for having a receiver get open. It's part of the quarterback's job to hit the open receiver. A play like this is another example where it's going to be a 3rd down and 4 right here. So that's the situation. Again, you see the man coverage concept on the screen. You have George Pickens one-on-one on the outside. 3rd down and 4. Let's put the ball in our best receiver's hands right here. Let's put the ball in really our best player's hands right now, it feels like. Give him a chance, at least on offense. Obviously, best player overall is TJ Watt, who maybe has the best hands in this game as well. Unbelievable with that interception, but that's, video for another day, perhaps. Watch Pickett take the snap. You're going to see him look down the field, fires down the field, and right here, it's not like it's wide open, right? But again, this is the thing. I mean, it's kind of funny where you throw to a guy who is wide open and you don't get any credit because you hit a wide open guy. You throw to a guy who isn't open, and then people say, well, you shouldn't throw at the guys who aren't open. You can't win. But watch this catch from Pickens. It was a great throw from Pickett, though. You have to give both of them credit, I think. That was a really good throw from Kenny Pickett. Put it exactly on the money. And again, yes, it was a great catch, but he knows George Pickens is can make those types of catches, and so he's using that to his advantage. You get credit for that, not blame, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, listen. As a whole, again, I know the numbers aren't incredible or anything like that, but there's a lot more that goes into football than just what the box scores suggest. I feel like, I almost feel like box scores, people that would just watch the box score, that kind of hurts, football analysis as a whole. I think people pay a little bit too much more attention to the poor stats and don't pay enough attention to the good stats, but that's, maybe a conversation for another day. I did think that there were some nice things to see, and again, Pickett's a young player, but he has, I think, shown that he belongs there at the NFL level. I mean, we talked about last year's quarterback draft being this incredibly high, hyped-up quarterback draft where there's, so many great prospects. Pickett certainly played better than at least a couple of those guys that were very hyped up, so far in his rookie season. So you feel pretty good about that. Again, there's still plenty of areas that you'd like to see him grow, but at the same time, I do think that watching him, he tends to come on and play pretty good football right away, and I think he, did do enough in this football game to give his team a chance to win. Now, again, Joe Burrow went off on the other side of the field. It happens. Sometimes Joe Burrow does that, but as a whole, I like this performance by Pickett. I thought that he played pretty well. That's what I thought. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Pickett and his performance? Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.